All right, guys, so we're back to the C10A here. We're going to put a new voltage regulator in it. So I got this one here. I forget where I got it from, Amazon or eBay or something like that. And the one that's on there, the wiring is all shot and everything. So what we're going to actually do is rewire this thing. We've got a nice one here. This is the proper voltage regulator. This old one here is a total piece, and all the wires on this tractor, if you can see this, are all complete garbage, all frayed, all falling apart. So we're just going to rewire this thing also, and then hopefully we'll have a battery that charges again, which would be awesome. So here's the old one. It's actually a Kohler part. I see the 41-30306 on there. And yeah, so yeah, look, this thing already busted off. Someone had built these wires at some point. They're way too small. They should be bigger diameter wire than this. This looks like it's 18 gauge or something, which is way too light. So let's just take all this junk out and start from scratch here. Now, if we come over here to where the wires come out of the stator, even over here, this is all rigged up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these wires back here and put the proper Packard connector on there. Look, there's a joint here. There's a joint here. Look, there's another joint right here. So in about 6 inches, you got 3 joints. And then where does it go? Then it goes into some kind of plug up here, which again is unnecessary. We basically need to make a wires that go from the stator up to the battery box, and that's it. It shouldn't be a big deal. I don't know what all this janky crap is here. They got a 3-wire plug here. I don't know what the heck these idiots did, but we basically need 2 wires to go down to the regulator and 1 to come back up to the key switch. So we'll just cut all this crap out and make some new wires, and it'll be really nice. Snipped off the wire. Now, it's supposed to have one of these male connectors here. It's called a Packard connector, and that will plug into this female connector. So I get these from this place called electricaldepot.com, and they're awesome. These are the type of fastener that go into the male side here, and then the female side has a different fastener. It's more like a 1/4-inch locking terminal that this plugs into. So what we're going to do is crimp and solder 2 of the male connectors on this end, and then all we got to do is push them into the plug after that, and the stator will be fixed. Well, I started to work on this C10A here probably over 6 months ago, and I bought the parts to fix it probably like, I don't know, 2 years ago. And now it's like about 2 hours before the snowstorm is coming, and I'm deciding to fix it. And the issue was that the voltage regulator was shot. So I decided to wire in a new one. And part of that, there was never the proper connector off the stator. They just had 2 butt connectors on there. So I just wired up the proper Delphi connector that I had bought. It's just like the OEM connector on there. So let's just take a look at the fabric hobbling, farmer wiring hacks, or whatever you want to call it, that's on this crazy thing. So down here where it comes out of the flywheel for the stator, let's just take a look here. They had these 2 blue butt connectors on there. And then they had that going up to 2 more butt connectors right here. So that's like about 4 inches, 5 inches away. And then you follow those up to here, and there's another butt connector. Then that went into some kind of crazy plug. And I don't know how the heck this thing is wired, but it's like the coil is going through that plug also. And I don't know. Then they got this big long white wire here that's going down to the voltage regulator. And I don't even know what the heck they're doing, but it's like they got the coil fed off the wrong prong on a key switch or something. Let me look down here and see how the key switch is even connected. Oh, there's just terminals on there. So I think what I'm actually going to do is to just fully disconnect these things out of this joint here and wire these things onto the proper terminals. Then we got all these other wires here that I have no idea what they're doing. One of them must be going to the solenoid, probably that green wire, I think. No, there's a tan one that's down there. This is nuts. And one of them's got to be the hot power going into the key switch. So I think my best bet here is to just unhook the key switch, pull it back out around here, and investigate what wires are on what prongs. And for now, we'll temporarily squeeze some new ends on there just to get this stupid thing working so that the battery's charging. Evidently, the battery hasn't been charging for about 3 years, so I keep having to put a trickle charger on it every time I use it, and it's not cool. And when you're blowing snow and stuff and you're under a load and it's draining the battery, it just starts to run bad when the battery starts to get low. It starts to miss, and I don't want to burn out the coil or something if the voltage is too low. So, I don't know, let's check it out. All right, let's check out this hot mess here. So this green wire was on this tab over here, which if you look close is the R, which is voltage regulator. This one up here is S for solenoid. That's going into the wiring harness without going into that stupid plug. And the one going into the plug here is the I for the ignition. So that one should have a new wire made to go to the coil. And so the white wire that I was actually kind of looking at the whole time isn't hooked up to anything. And this crazy green wire just comes out down here and like lands on the tire. It's not connected to anything. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to clip all these wires that suck out of here. And I like using blue wires for the return on the voltage, but whatever. I'm just going to use this white one. I'm going to clip it off about here, crimp a new end on it, and just shove it on there and call it a day. All right, so I ended up making a new wire from the coil to the key switch because the old one was all brittle and it actually just disintegrated when I touched it. So yeah, we got all the old junk cut out. Look at this pile of wires under the clippers there. I just can't believe what people do. It's just unbelievable. But I would really like to rewire everything in this tractor, but our temporary new wires will be good. I ended up making this blue wire here to go up to the voltage regulator up here in the battery box because the old wire that was in there was the same thing. It was all crusty and nasty. So let me put the key switch back in and we'll try it out. All right, so I got the chains put on. I got it pulled out of the garage here. So let's see. We haven't started it for about a month or so. Let's see how it fires up or not. Let's see. So at this point, the battery died in my camera. It was pretty cold. It was like 20 degrees out, and it doesn't like being in the cold. And by the time I had filmed all the wiring, the thing was just about done. And I was about to hook up the voltage meter to the battery to show you guys that it was working, and the battery died. So it did work. It was putting out 14.3 volts or something like that. And subsequently, I used it to snow blow during the big storm, and it worked flawlessly. So another fix